All right, so one of the more challenging parts of the polynomials unit is when you're adding or subtracting polynomials together. Adding is really nice because you end up with two polynomials in brackets, just like we got over here, but you can ignore the brackets. Subtracting is a little bit more challenging because there's an extra step involved. I'm going to show you what that looks like. We're gonna put that negative into the entire second polynomial. We call it distribution. Once we've done that, then it ends up being an addition problem. So I'll show you what that looks like though. So we've got 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. That's our first polynomial. We're not going to do anything with that. Okay, that's a last step kind of issue. Then we have a minus, and then we have 2x squared plus 4x minus 8. And that's what we have to work with first. So that negative has to be distributed into everything in that polynomial. So that includes that 2x squared. That includes the positive 4x. And that's also going to include the negative 8. And if we were showing our work, we would have to rewrite everything, including the distribution step. And here's the interesting thing. When you distribute a negative into a polynomial, an easy way to do this very quickly is to flip all of the signs that were in that polynomial to begin with. For example, we had a positive 2x squared. This should become a negative 2x squared. We had a positive 4x, so that must become a negative 4x. And we have a negative 8, so that should become a positive 8. And notice, once I've done that, my brackets are gone. So this just becomes a collecting like terms problem. Okay, so now I'm going to collect some like terms, and I'll do it the color-coded way that I did in the previous video, so you can see what that looks like. We're starting with x squared. And if I look through my problem, I still have another x squared, and I have to include the sign in front of it. And that's all I've got for x squareds. So I'm going to rewrite them and then move on to the next variable. Okay, so we're moving on to green now, and I'm going to be dealing with just the x's. So no longer the x squareds, we're done with those. We're moving on to the x's, and we've got a couple of them. So positive 2x and a negative 4x. So we're going to write both of those down as well. Okay, and lastly, I've got some single units. Again, if it's the last thing, you don't have to box them if you don't really want to, but just for the clarity or for thoroughness. And then we simplify everything, put it all together. 3x squared minus 2x squared is 1x squared. Remember, we don't need to write the ones. Positive 2x minus 4x. Well, the negative is bigger, so we should get a negative answer. 2 minus 4 ends up being negative 2. And the single units, 1 plus 8. And that's our solution.